All right, we're live, baby. We're recording and live on.
La 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 la, till I get my money right. Oh,
All right, baby.
has a fishness in my head. Masada.
Hey, it's been like 48 hours since the
Since the debacle.
since we got our asses whooped.
Yeah.
It took us 48 hours to get our thoughts together. To get
You got your thoughts together?
I got my thoughts put together a long time ago, bro.
Did you really?
Real talk, bro. I think you were the one specifically that said the Lakers were going to win the championship.
I did. Oh, I said they're going to get to the finals.
And you said that they were going to. You said that they were going to beat OKC.
Yes.
You said they're going to beat the Warriors.
Mhm.
It was specifically swayed. What do you say? Golden. And he said it to Andre Drummond. He said. He said Golden State, Empire State, Lakers in 5. Not only the Lakers get cracked by the Wolves, we got embarrassed, bro.
It's pretty embarrassing.
Who's to blame,
It's
man?
pretty embarrassing.
Who's to blame, man?
Makes you think, what if we had Mark Williams? I don't know.
Mark Williams wasn't going to.
Maybe it's a different series. Who knows?
Well, Mark Williams wasn't going to make LeBron 10 years younger and Luka 30 pounds lighter. That wasn't going to happen.
No, it sure wasn't. Sure wasn't.
Real talk. Who's to blame, though?
You want to go down the list of who's to blame?
Yeah, who's to blame?
I mean, when a team is, favored to win.
Who's the all right? Who gets the biggest piece of the blame?
The biggest piece of the blame has to fall on Luka, because you're a Laker now. For as long as the NBA has existed, if you're the best player on a team, the blame falls at your feet. Typically, is how it goes. Typically. Next up to blame would be Anthony Edwards. To blame for the debacle that was the loss against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Third to blame will be LeBron. Not performing up to his expectations. Now, I still think for a 40-year-old, I mean, he outplayed what 40-year-old expectations should be. But he didn't live up to what the Lakers need him to perform as to beat a team like Minnesota. And then finally, my blame, and this is a guy who's untouchable right now. He's untouchable. But a little bit of blame needs to fall at the GM's feet. It just does. It needs to fall a little bit to Rob's feet for not grabbing a big somewhere, for not shoring up any paint size whatsoever. And that's really 2-3% of it. When you get Luka in the same year, you kind of become untouchable. But obviously the roster had flaws. And when the roster has flaws, it's hard to blame the player or the coach on that. JJ Redick is a rookie head coach. I wasn't expecting, Phil Jackson out of him. But it's stupid to say, it's stupid to put the blame on one person or one thing when a team who was expected to win and was favored to win loses in 5. It's multifaceted. It's not one thing you could point at and say, this is why they lost. Timmy, what do you think?
I don't know, bro. You want to know real talk who's to blame? Us, man. Laker fans.
Mm-hmm.
We got way too caught up in the Luka hype and didn't look at what our real flaws were. Because you got to think about it, man. During the summer, that team was built to be around LeBron, AD, and Reeves. And then Nico, God bless him. He gave us a gift in Luka. So we went from one team that was built one way to go to a whole different way, and we thought that we were gonna And on top of that, Luka hasn't played. When he got traded to the Lakers, he didn't play for basically the whole year. He tried to play himself into shape. A guy that already can't play defense. There's nobody to protect the rim. I don't blame it on anybody, bro. I think it was roster construction, but that just based off the fact that we did such a dramatic trade in the middle of the year, and no time to add anybody around Luka. Don't forget, when we got Luka, it was like 2 or 3 days later. It was a trade deadline. Bro, real talk. If it wasn't going to be the Wolves, we were going to get clapped by somebody else. But this summer, though, it's a different story for me, bro. Because you're going to have a whole summer to build the right team around Luka, LeBron, Reeves. And now there's no excuses at that point, bro. Like, Rob Pelinka is on the clock. I'm not blaming JJ Redick because JJ Redick was trying to put a game plan around nobody protecting the rim. Putting a game plan around a 40-year-old who was supposed to be our best defender, bro. That wasn't going to work.
He was trying to bake a cake with rice and olive oil.
Yeah, man. Like, this real talk. And people want to sit here and try to act like, oh, you know, they lost the game that he played in the second half. It didn't matter, man. They outscored us plus 13 in every fourth quarter of this series, every game of this series. What does that mean?
That means a lot of blame needs to fall on LeBron and Luka's feet.
Sure. But I don't know if you realize, man, teams that have been winning the championship lately, they've been deep teams. I don't know if you realize that. Think about it. Boston, deep. Legitimately deep. You know, you got to think about it. Boston, there was games where it would be Derek White, Porzingis, Pritchard going off for games. So basically, the Lakers needed LeBron to score 40, Luka to score 40, Rui 15, and then AR 20. It wasn't realistic, man. It wasn't realistic. Really, really wasn't. They got to get themselves a center this year, one that could protect the rim. So that way it'll cover up some of, you know, when Luka gets blown by. Luka's never gonna be a good defender, bro. That's cooked.
Like I didn't even think his defense was necessarily bad this series, to be honest.
No,
for what I expect out of him.
It
I tell you who fell in my eyes and a lot of people's eyes, unfortunately, has been Austin Reeves in this series.
He got cooked this series.
A lot of his flaws were exposed. And what it turned out is to get LeBron off the ball using Austin Reeves works for 82 games. Until you play a team with a bunch of athletes.
Yeah, you're cooked.
Until you play a team that has nobody to game plan, but for you for the next 2 weeks. Then I got a game plan for anything other than your team. So it's easy to understand your flaws. It's easy to understand what you like to do on the court. It's easy to understand what your favorite spots are, how often you get to them, what do you use to get to them, whether it's a high pick and roll, whether it's a wing pick and pop, whether it's an ISO, whatever way you like to get to your spots. It's easy now to figure out and say, hey, man, yeah, we're just going to take a super athletic 6'8" forward, and we're just going to live with you trying to create off of that. And you got to have
an issue. They have an issue moving forward. And I thought about this the other day. So if they want Luka, Reeves, and LeBron moving forward to be their best three players moving forward, when was the last time that you could think of a team that won a championship where their starting point guard and starting shoot guards are, I'm not going to say poor. Both got, Reeves is a willing defender, just not a good one.
He's poor. Both of him and Luka are poor defenders.
To me, there's differences between just a bad, unwilling defender and a willing defender, but just doesn't have the athleticism to be one. Like when I think of Austin Reeves, I think he's a willing defender, but he can't guard these guys that are good.
Luka, the unfortunate reality is that translates the same on a basketball court.
Exactly.
In the NBA playoffs, whether you're willing or not. You suck,
Luka sometimes look like a willing and an unwilling guy. Sometimes. But my whole point about that, my whole point about that is that when's the last time there was two poor a poor defender at point guard and shooting guard to win a championship?
It typically doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen.
That's not a typical thing.
So what are
I'll
they
fight back though, and I'll say you don't typically get two 30-point triple-double guys on the same team either. But I say that because you're already building in an unconventional way. The Lakers are already built unconventionally. Here's my issue with that perfect game. That last game was a perfect microcosm of the whole series, bro. It was a perfect telltale of how the Lakers were never going to win that series. The Timberwolves shot 7 of 47 from 3. 7 of 47. Somebody can fact check me, since we're doing the whole fact checking thing. Somebody can fact check me, but that has to be one of the worst 3-point performances by a team in NBA history. It has to be, especially in the playoffs.
Disgusting.
In the playoffs, it has to be one of the worst ever. They dominated the whole game.
Yeah.
They dominated the whole game.
Yeah, we just didn't want it more.
And mind you, when you play undersized, so some people are like, oh, well, we play small ball defense, and like, oh, but the Golden State Warriors did it, and like okay. If you think back to that Golden State Warriors team, bro, they had defenders everywhere. When they played 5, they had Andre Iguodala, who was one of the best wing defenders in the league. They had a Defensive Player of the Year in Draymond Green. In the Hall of Fame Golden State Warriors, they had Kevin Durant, who was a really good rim protector. They had Klay Thompson, who was one of the best 3-and-D guys in the league. It was what he was. He was a 3-and-D on steroids. And you had Steph, who could play passing lanes. I look at this team and I say, we run small ball. What do you mean by small ball? You mean we're playing Vandal with the 5? Is that what you mean by playing small ball? We're not playing small ball. We're just small.
There's no
difference. You guys understand what I'm saying, though?
Yeah, I get it.
There's a difference of playing small ball, and there's a difference of being small. Every single shot that came at an opportune time for Minnesota last game was off of a Rudy Gobert offensive rebound or an easy Rudy Gobert throw-in shot. He out-rebounded. He had more offensive rebounds by himself last game than the entire Lakers team. Than the entire one. And believe it or not, I don't even think it was because of lack of effort. I just think because nobody else on the court was 7'3". It just what it was, bro. Like, it's size hurt.
But
and then when you can't come back,
you don't see the issue moving forward, though. You don't see
my issue, Hakeem, is
Hetty, but you got to think about it like this.
I'm a huge LeBron fan, right?
Hetty, but think about this real quick. Let me say this: you don't see the issue of moving forward. Think about how great Rob Pelinka is going to have to build this team moving forward, no matter what happens. Listen, the Lakers are not going to trade Austin Reeves unless it's for somebody that's really good. That was a bargain at the contract.
That was my next point.
Right? They're not going to trade him for a bag of a couple 3-and-D guys. That's just not going to happen. It wouldn't be smart. I would be mad if that was the case.
Yes.
If they want to start Austin Reeves moving forward, and for however long LeBron plays on the Lakers, that means they have poor defender at point guard because Luka's never going to be a good defender. He can maybe get better at being, rotating, maybe better in shape so that way he's not getting completely blown by. Reeves is going to get cooked. And I don't care what you say, LeBron at this point is an average defender, especially if you want him to get anything on offense. If you're going to ask him to be the Draymond Green of their team like they were asking him to do, that's not a recipe for success moving forward.
No, it's not.
LeBron can't be the best defender on the court.
No, it's not.
That means that if they're going to start those 3 guys, that means they need to have an elite center, and every other player on the court has to be elite on defense. And that's just not possible. Even with the other 2 players being elite, like they're still going to get cooked, bro. Every great team in the West has great guards now. OKC, they got J-Dub and they have Shea. The Warriors, until they have Curry, is going to be a freaking problem. Ain't going nowhere. So you know what they're going to do? They're going to pick on those 3 guys till they can't anymore, bro. That's just the reality of it, man. So what do? Do you put AR and make him a 6-man? That's something that they have to think about doing.
My next thing would be to understand that going into next year, the reality is to win a championship and to be a real contender where we could actually look and say we have all of our holes covered. LeBron probably can't be your second best player anymore. This is the harsh reality. To me, and I'm the LeBron guy.
Yeah, he can't be.
At this point, I don't think he could be your third best player.
He's never going to be healthy come playoff time. Fully healthy.
I don't think he could be your second best player to win an NBA championship because he was by far and away the second best player in this series. And man, you could make an argument he might in certain spurts he looked like number one again.
In some games,
and that's not conducive to winning an NBA championship. I know you said you'd be upset if they traded AR for 3-and-D guys, and I would never trade him for some 3-and-D guys. But let me at least see what I can get on the market for AR. Let me see if I can get an athletic guard with some potential, an athletic big, an athletic wing that I can pair with them. An athletic big, I do it if they're even half decent. I don't know who's even available. I don't even know who that is out there in the league. But if we can do that somehow, then it's more realistic at that point. Now you've shored up a real weakness, which is size. And ball handling is what we liked AR for on this team. Whenever we did our Would You Rathers for AR, your reasoning behind it was that it was juice. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was that he had more juice and his playmaking and ball handling ability. Well, if you're going to struggle to do that against athletic guards in the West, you're a glorified spot-up shooter. That's what he turned into in a lot of games. Let me say this, glorified spot-up shooter.
Let me say this real quick.
Did he not? Am I tripping? Was that
You're not wrong at all. He couldn't dribble the ball against any of them. Conley, Ant, McDaniels.
And there was more defenders waiting for him against in OKC, by the way.
Yeah, I'll say this, though. Yeah. This was, and he took it to the chin, and he acknowledged it. This was the worst he ever looked in the playoffs because he's usually had some really good playoffs. Like, bro, he was winning games against Memphis and stuff like that. The problem is, though, is you're playing devil's advocate, right? I would trade AR too. I would trade AR too if it was for a good big. But I also got to go back to being a nerd about value. You got it better be somebody good because I'm not giving up a guy that could score 20 points a game in the regular season for a guy who just has potential who's only making $15 million a year. But this is the devil's advocate I have to give you. You trade away AR and you go get yourself a big. Or they trade them for a bunch of 3-and-D guys, which, by the way, they're not going to do.
No,
LA's already came out and said they're not going to trade AR unless it's for another potential all-star because in the regular season, that's what AR is right now. You know, it is what he's a borderline all-star. The devil's advocate of trading him for a bunch of 3-and-D guys, which I would never do, is that now you're asking LeBron to take more of the ball handling through an 82-game season, and he just can't do that at this point. And he doesn't want to. Why do you think he guesses up AR all year? My thing is maybe you have to move AR to the 6th man and do something differently with that. Or you let bygones be bygones and you said maybe at the end of the day, he just had a really bad series and we run it back again. I think that's what they're going to do. But there is one other thing they have to do, though, and this is going to be on LeBron. LeBron has to do the same thing he did last summer. When they go into free agency, LeBron has to say, I'm not going to sign until you guys go ahead and get everything that you guys need to do to make this a championship team. Because LeBron at 40, and this is going to rub some people the wrong way, and it's probably going to rub you. He still plays like a top 10 player in the league. But in a championship run, he doesn't have the gas to take up $50 million. He deserves every dime of it. But if he actually is about winning championships, bro, he's going to have to do that whole thing where he tells Rob, go sign whoever you could sign, and I'll take the rest of the money. I hope he does that. Because you just said that LeBron can't be the second best player on a championship team. But when you pay a guy $50 million a year, he has to be. It's just mathematically.
100%. No, I agree. I mean,
you know what I mean? The AR thing, bro, it's just...
You're going to need a guy willing to take a pay cut now. We're talking millions here. We're not talking a couple $1,000.
He was last year.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was actually about it, but
I mean, usually when LeBron and his group put something out there, usually they mean what they say.
But I mean, it
Usually with
already
LeBron
came,
in the past, when there was smoke, there was fire.
but it already
That would
came
be
out
my guess.
early.
Another thing, Hakeem, you mentioned like he was playing well in the playoffs. He's on a lot more scouting reports now than he was before, than he was a year ago, 2 years ago. You see it sometimes with guys where, like, especially when this is the weird conversation that we always had with Austin Reeves. This is where, like, I struggled with Austin Reeves. Is that we're always comparing them to guys who are 1 or 2 on their team. And we look at their numbers and we say, oh, well, I mean, this guy's averaging, 25, 5 and 5, and this guy's averaging 25 and 5 as a third option, and this guy's doing it as a first option. Well, if he had as many touches, he'd do 1, 2, 3. And I always contended he was getting the third, fourth best defender on the other team a lot of times. He wasn't dealing with the best defender every night. Until, again, they ran up to a team who was a super athletic. Why do you think Austin Reeves struggled? I'm curious. In the series, what made Austin Reeves struggle? What was it? Was it just not he was making shots?
No, I think a few things. I think that the ball pressure. So I think the Wolves game planned it perfectly. They said that we're gonna put McDaniels on Luka. We're gonna put length on Luka. We're gonna put I think who they have Randall on LeBron, and they said
most of the game, yeah.
And they said we're gonna take away the third option, and they put Ant, who's one of the most athletic guys, on Reeves. Yeah, I mean, Ant's gonna do that to any third option in the league. Real talk.
But so is Shea.
But I don't know.
And that's who you're playing against in the West, though.
100%, though. I know. I agree with you.
And like, if they would have played Golden State next round, the third best defender would be Jimmy Butler.
No, Jimmy would have been on either LeBron or on.
So who are you putting on? Draymond Green? Who are you putting on?
No, they would have put Moody on him.
Moody on him. Another athletic, again, not Ant.
Yeah, but no, but hey, let's
queen.
not.
Let me tell you. Tell you why I think he struggled. Why I think, and in spurts you saw LeBron and Luka struggle. When there's no threat in the interior, there's zero threat in the interior. It's a lot easier to choke up the key and to choke up the wings and the top of the key, which is where those three operate. LeBron at 40, that's where he operates. That's where Luka operates. That's where Austin Reeves operates. So you did the opposite. Typically, when you have like too much size, you don't have enough spacing in the middle. Because they didn't have any size, there wasn't enough spacing on the wings.
Exactly.
And at the top of the key. So when we were asking, like, oh, why is Luka every time, bro, he brings up the ball, he dribbles to a corner. I mean, most of the time it was LeBron and Austin Reeves at the top of the key with him. It was very easy to send another guy. It was very easy. Now, again, some of that is Luka's fault. But getting trapped in a corner and getting double teamed every single time down. Bro, I saw LeBron get double teamed in this. I saw Luka get double teamed. AR not so much, obviously. But they were so easily doubling. And even out of passes, they were so athletic and so gifted defensively. They were able to close out on shots so quickly because there's no threat in the paint. Zero. There is zero threat
also,
for you to
why
score
were the Wolves,
easy baskets.
Why were the Wolves?
Zero.
Why were the Wolves also doing what they were doing, though? Not every team was going to be able to give the Lakers this type of trouble.
They weren't, no.
Because the Wolves have two things. They have very elite wing defenders, but they also, as much as we dog on Rudy, he's defensive. He's won 80 defensive player of the years. So in the chance that Luka blew by his defender, or Reeves did, or Luka did, or LeBron did, who was waiting at the rim? Rudy. So it was just going to be tough shots. I contend with you that there was no other team outside of maybe OKC that was going to be able to really give us this type of trouble. I think, and even listen, I think Luka with a full camp and not missing 30, 40 games, he looked human in these switches when Rudy was guarding him. And when what's his name was? Who's the kid that can't jump when he shoots threes? Naz Reid. He got blocked 3 times. The game's totally different when you get those switches and you knock a 3 in their eye every single time. But it wasn't there. Like, you look at Luka and he averaged 30, right? But it was like there were those moments were missing, bro.
It was empty 30.
What is it?
It was empty 30. I mean,
It was an empty 30. How many
a lot of
games
nights
did
it was
him
an
and
empty 30. You know what I mean?
yeah, how many games were him and LeBron not able to be seen? None of them hit those big shots at the end of the day.
I mean, they combined for like 3 points to those 2 games in Minnesota.
Yeah, man. Like, and
the last 5 minutes. And some of that is gas. Some of it is gas. Some of it is you're running out of fuel. One is out of shape. Let's just call a spade, and we're not gotta mince words. One was out of shape, and the other one was old. It is what it is. And my disappointment in LeBron that series was that he was using energy. He was expending energy that I thought could have been used elsewhere. In that game, the second game in Minnesota where we lost, if you noticed down the stretch, his energy was used defensively. He made like 3-4 huge defensive stops back to back to back. If you remember that, 2 steals, a block. It looked like it was going well. He turns it over at the end. The energy was expended in ways, but then I think about it. I battle it in my head. Man, Julius Randle was a fucking dog. Julius Randle played like Julius fucking Randle is supposed to play, bro. Julius Randle was a stud. So, again, we don't have a plethora of wing defenders that we could throw at him. There's no size. And like you said, our backcourt, put it this way, our backcourt, to say it very nicely, is probably the most unathletic in the NBA. For just being real about it.
Yeah.
As far as just pure athletes, it's probably the most unathletic in the NBA. So when you took out one of our backcourt mates, when you took him out and you didn't allow him to dribble, which is why he's on the court, is to play, make, and create at that third option, which is what made him so dynamic in the regular season, then yeah, man, you're fucked. You're fried. What are you going to do? And then there's nothing, again, there's no paint presence. There's never a threat of you getting an easy bucket at the rim.
I'll tell
it's
you, bro.
All created at the top of the key.
It came down to in this series in particular. It did come down to size. And I'll tell you why, because they have a center that plays under the rim. Most teams in the West right now don't. Like even OKC, Holmgren, Chet doesn't play under the rim. He's at the 3-point line, right?
Yeah.
They play under the rim. They have a rim protector. We didn't. Let me tell you, Julius Randle played above what he usually does in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, he averaged 20 in the first round. He averaged 22 points. He gave 5 rebounds, but just on shooting percentages, he shot 40% from the 3-point line, and he shot 48% field goal. He's never came close to that, right? On the 3-point line or at the on the field goal percentage. That's just because he got anything he wanted, man. Somebody at the rim protector, it's a lot different of a story. Same thing with Ant. I'll tell you that right now. Ant was getting whatever he wanted at the rim. If there's a rim protector out there, it's a totally different game. So I'm not going to.
Size was a huge issue.
I'm not going to overreact. I'm not going to overreact to, I'm not going to go too far to the left or too far to the right. I think LA is going to come back next year unless something drastic happens where the 3 best players are going to be Luka, LeBron, and Reeves. But big thing is going to come down to who they put around them, right? And D's right on the mark, bro. Size, matchups, depth was foreseeable. And it is what it is, right? Size, go get yourself a center. Just right at the top. They need to go get themselves a center. I would go get Kessler from Utah. There's a lot of rumors about Nick Claxton from the Nets. I would go get Kessler, though. Go get a big boy right in the middle. And then they need to go get a bunch of long, athletic 3-and-D guys. That way you have guys to throw at these athletic guards. It's just what's it going to come down to, man. But I mean, who's LA going to go and get? Like big player wise. We already got our big fish. We got Luka. Straight up. Who else are they going to go get?
And again, it's gonna sound crazy and all the way left, but it's hard not to think like, okay, what if an athletic 7'2" big was out there that was on the roster for basically player wise, Dalton Connect. It's hard to not at least think about it and say, what does that look like against Minnesota? Where now they have to
for Robert Williams.
Huh?
So you're saying if the trade had went through with Robert Williams?
For Mark Williams. If it had went through for Mark, a rim runner, at worst, a lob threat. At worst, you have a lob threat and someone who averaged a block and a half a game. At worst, someone in the paint
Luka
to make it at least so that you can get easy shots. Take it back to last year, right? Remind me, was Derek Lively healthy in that series against Minnesota?
Derek Lively was healthy, yes.
And Gafford was healthy as well?
and Derek Lively.
Okay. So you had two bigs who were rim runners who allowed Kyrie and allowed Luka in spots of games to get easy buckets at the rim. Because let's make it clear. AR and Kyrie, obviously Kyrie's a lot better than AR, but they operate in the same areas of the court. They like to do the same type of thing.
Yep.
But they had two rim runners, and they had wings, and they had depth, and they had people who could shoot a three ball from the corner consistently. They had that. It was easy for them to create. It was easy for them to give them space. It was easy for them to go one-on-one. It felt rare where Luka was going one-on-one in the series. It felt like a rare thing. And when he was going one-on-one,
he didn't have the juice, bro.
When he was going one-on-one, it was easy to guard him with a big because, again, there's no threat. There was zero threat.
But I would contend, though, Hetty,
the wings.
Even when he was going one-on-one, though, Hetty, he didn't. I think you could have prime Shaq at the center spot. He didn't have it this series, man.
It was a mix.
He didn't have it this year.
It was a mix of things.
He was playing into shape, man. A guy that's already not in shape was trying to play in shape, bro. And their problems were Luka wasn't magic, like Luka Magic, and they were missing a big. Like, I get what you're saying. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's going to be interesting to see what it looks like because before Luka got there, I don't know if you would agree with me at the time. I can't remember now, but I always thought, like, man, listen, it's going to be hard to win a championship with the play style that Luka plays. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard.
He got to a championship, though, man. He proved that
I know that, but like, it wasn't close in the championship game. It wasn't even close. So,
but that's more because of what was around him, though. But Luka has proved
a little bit, but he didn't. I don't think he played well. Do you think he played well in the last year's finals?
But no, he didn't play well. But there's players that we've said, oh, we don't know if their play style can win a championship, and most of those guys don't ever get to a championship, bro. Like, I still have my questions about that play style because you have to be perfect with those tough jump shots like he does. But he proved that when he's healthy, that he could eventually get himself into. He could get his team there at least, though. He's proved it. But it's a big summer.
Welcome to Los Angeles, cuz.
I'm gonna say something about Luka, bro.
Getting them there ain't enough, brother. It ain't enough no more. It was cute in Dallas.
And this is something else about Luka, bro. Yeah. He didn't choose to come to LA, but he's a Laker now, and he has to just deal with it. This isn't Dallas. This isn't fucking Milwaukee. This isn't Charlotte. If you do not win in LA, you're a failure. And on top of that, if you don't come in shape, you're gonna get called out, whether you win a championship or not. I'm not asking you to have a six-pack and be on the cover of GQ, but I'm asking you to be in game shape where you don't look gassed at the end of fourth quarter. That's all I'm asking. I don't want this athletic defender. I know what he is. Be a willing defender out there. Rotate and do what you can, but you can't be gassed at the end of fourth quarters. We got nothing from him at the end of fourth quarters. Just straight up. Yeah. Naz Reid was blocking his shots at the end of the fourth quarter.
Either of them, him or LeBron. You don't get much. Either of them.
And listen, if you want more from Austin Reeves, he gave you exactly what he gave you every single series. So we just have to accept that Austin Reeves is going to give you 17 points a game, 3 to 4 assists and about 4 to 5 rebounds in the playoffs. Whether it's against Memphis, Memphis, or it's gonna be or against gonna be OKC. This is who this is who he is, bro. Straight up.
By the way, just for the viewers out there, Fred VanVleet, game 4, 25, game 5, 26, tonight 27. Just to put that out there. The Golden State Warriors made 3 shots. The Golden State Warriors made 3 shots in this fourth quarter, and they are currently about to lose, and it's going to game 7. Just as an update, FYI.
Yeah, but I mean,
now let me ask a question to the beautiful folks out there, to your beautiful face. Because I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's going to have 40. But if Steph blows another 3-1 lead, what are we doing? What are we doing?
You already know my rule about.
What are we doing with that?
You already know my rule about players to sold.
I mean, he's 36. He's not 40.
He's 37. I don't with all-time greats when they're older, when they're giving us something they're not even supposed to be giving us at this point, their legacies can never get hurt. They can only gain. To you. But I think, I mean, you should feel the same way though, bro. Like nothing LeBron did in LA.
2-3-1s is tough.
I know that's
won't tough, man.
They won't lose. But
no, they won't. Again, I think he'll have 40 and no win in a route.
It would be it would be on his.
It is in Houston.
Resume.
It is in Houston.
Yeah, but we know the rule. Best player wins.
The best player in the series has been Fred VanVleet so far. So we'll see what's going on.
But I think, I mean, but this is the problem though. Have you seen the score sheet for the Warriors?
No, not today's. No.
All right, Jimmy Butler has 27 points. Curry has 29. Draymond has 8. Buddy Hield has 0 points. Gary Payton has 5 points.
What kind of shooting splits for Jimmy and stuff?
Yep. And the
what
next
kind of shooting splits? Like what
Curry's 9 of 23, 6 of 16 from the 3-point line, and Jimmy Butler 7 of 17.
Yeah, not great.
The only other player that's in double figures is Moody with 13 and Pod with 10. They're not going to win like that, bro.
No, they're not.
That ain't just gonna happen, bro.
No. Şengün had a big boy game. I didn't check his stat sheet, but just watching the game, he had a big boy game. And Fred VanVleet has turned into who's he turned into?
29.
Who's that small? Points. Who's that small? That's like Jamal Murray. He turned into playoff Jamal Murray.
Well, he did turn into Jamal Murray. But you know what's crazy though is either one of them are going to have the opportunity to get fucking swept in the next round by the Wolves.
Yeah, because size has been a real issue. Steven Adams has 17 points today. 17. 1-7.
Yeah.
17.
If you thought the Lakers didn't have ball, at least the Lakers have ball handlers that just struggled. You know, what do you think's going to happen to the Warriors? Who do you think's going to? We have a comment here, Ari. Who do you think's going to win Game 7? Clippers or Denver? Ari, appreciate the comment. Who do you got? Clippers or Denver? Game 7.
I've been saying Clippers. I've been saying that, and I'm not.
You're going against your rule. The best player. The best player gets. You usually say the best player wins a Game 7. You're going against your rule. You're muted, big dog. You're muted. We're just gonna let Hattie talk. You're muted.
Typically, you're right. I would assume that the best player wins Game 7. But I truly, in my heart of hearts, based on what I've seen, believe that the Clippers are a better basketball team than these Denver Nuggets. And to be honest with you, even if they lose in Game 7, I'm not gonna think otherwise. I just think Jokic is going to be that much more dominant to win. That's what it's going to take. Timmy, if you have James Harden and Kawhi going for 25 each, you're fried. You're cooked.
I'm going with Denver. I think the Joker will give you a great game as usual, and I think Jamal Murray will have a big Game 7. And I believe it's at home for Denver.
I think it is, yes. No, it's back at the Clippers.
Really? Are you sure?
The last game was at Denver.
Are you sure?
They just beat Denver at Denver yesterday. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Clippers versus.
We can check it real quick.
Somebody asked why is Swade slacking on the night shift. You guys got to realize, man, Swade is he's cooked after like 9 p.m. He's yawning by like 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, it's at Denver. It's at Denver. You're right.
yeah, man. I'm
Ball arena.
definitely taking Denver. Yeah, Ari, you're right, bro. It is in Denver. Yes, I'm taking Denver at home. I'm taking Swade's favorite player, the Joker. He'll have a 35, 12, and 11 game. Go ahead there and put it in a parlay from right now. And James Harden will choke in another big game. I already see it. I already see like a bad game from James Harden. Kawhi will give you a master class. I agree.
I mean, a
Swade,
Kawhi
why you in our
masterclass means they're
comments,
going to
bro?
win.
What is it?
When does Kawhi have a masterclass in the playoffs and his team loses? That never happens. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but I mean, he's gonna need somebody else.
He's going to have about two else. He's going to have about James Harden, about Norman Powell, a whole boatload to deal with.
So you
He's
really
gonna have something else.
your money's on the Clippers.
I'm not putting a dime on either of these teams, but
Nope.
if
Life
I was a
depended
betting
on it.
man, I would.
If your
I
life
would,
depended
I would
on it.
sprinkle some on the Clippers. If I was a betting man, I would sprinkle on the Clippers.
You're going against your
But
rule. I don't.
I
Like
don't feel strongly either way in this series. To be honest with you, I think it's two very evenly matched teams. To me,
You're going against your rule, bro. I've never seen
I
you
am.
say this.
I am,
That's
and you know, Steph is 37. So cool. You don't want to, judge him for playoff losses, early playoff exits. Cool. Jokic, you don't get out of the first round after you just lost in the second round last year. I don't give a damn who's around you. I don't give a damn what your team is. I don't give a damn who your coach is. Now we have to start looking because now we can truly, finally say that you've been competitive. Your team's been competitive for 1 year out of your 10. I mean, this is his 10th year in the league. He's 30. It's not like he's a third year player.
The same could be said about Giannis, though, bro.
1,000%.
Both are best players.
1,000%.
Hey, both are best players. Both are best players.
No, it's different though because Giannis isn't playing with nearly the talent that Jokic is playing, bro.
But
he just isn't.
Both of them have disappointed in the playoffs.
You're combining the two, but the rosters are very different. Denver's roster is very different than Milwaukee's roster.
Both of them have disappointed.
Denver's
I agree with
roster is deeper than Milwaukee's roster, and it ain't close.
But just because we're comparing two bad rosters, they're both bad rosters. I agree.
The thing that's weird with Denver is when they won that championship, we were so eager to call them the deepest roster in the NBA. That was 2 years ago.
Because we all thought
2 years ago, and they changed nothing other than KCP.
Like
major move and Bruce Brown.
We all thought that MPJ was going to get better. He actually he's recessed as a player. We all thought that Jamal Murray would play at that high level that he did and be an all-star player. My man came and make an all-star.
Just saying, if you want to be compared to Shaq, the expectations are different.
Well, that's us who compares to him, and we're wrong.
The expectations now. This is a bugaboo that I have with a lot of sports people and a lot of people who talk sports. They add, which is a regular human nature, you add certain biases to guys based on if you like them as an athlete or not. To me, the best athletes are the ones that have a ton of expectations and come through. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL because he has the most expectation every year and he comes through every year. LeBron, to me, was the best basketball player in the league for a long time because he had the most expectations. To me, it's unarguable on any athlete that's ever existed in American team sports, and he came through every year. Kobe Bryant had massive expectations every year, and he came through. All-time greats is what they do. I can't give you the excuse of you don't have a team now when I go to compare you against another all-time great that everybody wants to throw you and lump you into. I can't do it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Hey, but we had this discussion
unless,
the other day.
Again, you want to put those expectations, and then we judge them based on those expectations, like we do with other all-time greats.
But hey, we talked about this the other day, though. You remember what we asked? We were like, do we think LeBron, even if Lillard got injured, or let's just say Jamal is not having, does LeBron lose in the first round with this Denver team or this Bucks team? And the answer was no. And honestly, I would say probably like those top 7 guys in our all-time list, maybe even our 10. I mean, maybe not like the back end of the list. Most of those guys don't constantly lose in the first round, even if somebody gets injured or even if your second best player is Jamal Murray. All right. So maybe those guys aren't as good at carrying teams as we thought.
Some of that now listen. To be fair, some of them is because they're bigs. They play with bigs.
Now listen. I'm not going to go away from next year and still not have both those guys in my top 2 players.
Without a shit. Ooh.
I mean, sure, if SGA wins a championship, out of respect, you got to put him number 1. If Tatum does too, and he wins the Finals MVP, and he's dominant in the championship, I'll put him number 1. But it's a different story if I'm starting a team tomorrow. I'm still not starting my team with Tatum, or I'm still not starting my team with SGA.
Over those 2 other guys. No, 1,000%.
Yeah. And this is how we are with football. Like next year, if Lamar Jackson won the championship, most lists, they'll have Lamar number 1. But we all know, like, totality would still be Pat because he has like 3 or 4 of them. You know what I mean? So, like, it's just lists are weird. But, I mean, I'm not going to – those guys are great players, bro. I mean, man, Joker is the only center since whatever his name is from back in 1966, right, to average a triple-double at center.
I got something coming for you guys.
I know you got something on the next podcast about it, bro.
Everything you've been told about Wilt was a lie. Just you wait.
I've been saying that. You're the one that said let's respect the elders and stuff like that.
No, I said let's respect it, and I'm still gonna respect them.
Man, fuck them elders, man. That's what I say about them. Get them off the list.
Listen, I went back. I'm just gonna say this little hint. I went back to the books. I went back into the books. It ain't all sunshine and rainbows for that whole era. So
wait, real quick. You're not gonna have Bill Russell. You never had Bill Russell in your top 10. You were no longer gonna have Wilt inside your top 10.
I will no longer have Wilt or Bill Russell in my top 10. No.
Oh, you're finally coming to the good side.
Well, I mean, now it's because it's backloaded with facts now instead of just assuming.
It's what I've always been saying.
What do you even say?
I've been saying that we don't know who they were playing. We don't have evidence.
Oh, we know who they're playing now. I have the evidence. It's there and ready to go. It's loaded.
So they're playing plumbers.
Oh no, I mean not
plumbers, accountants,
not plumbers,
landscapers.
But little hint.
Business front owners.
Little hint. The average size in the NBA when Wilt played was 6'5", 195, and he was 7'2", 280. So just
I'm done with that.
Just man. A little wink, wink.
I actually deserve I deserve you were right. I deserve you were right.
You were right.
I deserve it. And I'm happy you have the metrics and people have to wait for the next podcast.
Now when they, now when you say it, I can, and somebody calls you crazy, I can back you up and tell you, listen, he's not crazy. You're crazy.
What am I gonna? Wilt, sure, because even if you adjust the numbers till today, sure.
No top 10.
But Bill,
no top 10 for either.
Not for the respect. I don't care, man. Bill cannot be in a top 10. I'm not kicking off Steph Curry out of my top 10 to put Bill Russell in there. Sorry. Not doing it. Not doing it. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. Just saying.
I'm going to ask a question to whoever's, watching. I'm going to ask it to you. I'm going to ask it to you, and I'm going to ask it to everybody out there. Whoever's out there listening, wants to comment, wants to join in. If Kobe Bryant played on the Chicago Bulls in the 90s, in your heart of hearts, how many championships do you think he comes away with? Because I know my answer.
You think he goes 6-0?
I think he goes 6. I think he wins 6. I think he wins 6. Timmy.
I don't know.
Timmy.
Sure, because he was the closest to his play style, and you can somewhat. But that's like the only guy you could kind of do it with because they played so similarly. Just saying.
I went back into the books, man. I went.
I'm not.
I had a little. I had a little time this week, and I was like, man, They keep telling us stuff about these athletes. I'm joking. We know.
I'm
we know
not,
Mike.
but
We know all about Mike. We know the '90s. We know
I'm
all
not
about
doing
this.
you.
We know all about Detlef Schrempf, man.
LeBron's
Just
the
gonna put
greatest
this
player
out
of all time, but I'm not here for the Michael Jordan.
just gonna put this out there. I'm just gonna put this out there. This might be interesting to you. This might be interesting. Just hear it. See, the thing is with you, with Mike, like you're so scared to criticize because you don't know. So you're like, man, I don't want to say the wrong thing. Well, I'm here. I'll share some shit with you. I'll share some shit. I'll share it because you're being stubborn on something you don't even really know that much about. Let me tell you something. In their finals career, Kobe Bryant played with 9 Hall of Famers. So that means in every finals he was in, if you totaled up every time he played with a Hall of Famer in the finals, totals up to 9. And he played against 15, 1-5. Michael Jordan played against 10 Hall of Famers compared to Kobe's 15. And he had 15 Hall of Famers on his team. That means every series that he walked into, Michael had more Hall of Famers on the other side. LeBron James, he's played with 18 Hall of Famers. And he's played against the most in NBA history. 31 Hall of Famers in the NBA Finals. Just in the NBA Finals alone. Only. Listen, when we say that the road wasn't as hard in the 90s for someone like Mike, it ain't just out of our ass, bro. It ain't, oh, you weren't there and you didn't see it. I mean, listen, man, I can go back and see it if that's what you want. I on everything I love, I've probably watched at least 30 hours of Michael Jordan footage. Minimum. God bless his soul. There was a guy on YouTube back in the day. He used to grab him. He used to put a little Chinese ad every 5 minutes so they don't take it down on YouTube. And he would just upload every Michael Jordan game. You could go back and watch every single one of them. Listen, man. Great, awesome player. Top 2 player of all time. A little more touchable than people think. That's all I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with saying that. There's nothing wrong with saying that.
We'll have to have a.
There's nothing wrong with saying if Kobe and Mike played once tomorrow, I don't know who wins. I don't know.
We'll have to have another live for another day, man. We'll do this. We're gonna have you educate people about the Michael Jordan. I think if there's anybody that could ever do the whole education of Michael Jordan versus LeBron, I think you're the best one. I'm with you. I don't like some of the routes you take.
Why?
With the there's some very petty routes you take with the mic. I think. Wait, no, not this one. But there have been in the past. There's some petty, and you're above some of the arguments you would make. You're a lot smarter than some of the arguments you would make. There was just a few. We'll get into them at some other time, man.
Okay.
You know,
wait until you find out all of his defensive teams were fake too.
Oh,
this is gonna be crazy.
God,
Listen. That's a different conversation for another day. That ain't for today. That Nike machine and NBA machine was coming strong. That's all I'm gonna say, man.
We're not. I'm not a big conspiracy guy, man. Sometimes, hey, listen. Sometimes things are just what they are, man.
Those aren't conspiracy theories.
With that being said,
how are they conspiracy theories? You don't even. What are you talking about?
They're the conspiracy theories, baby. I'm not here for the conspiracy theories.
They're not conspiracy theories.
On this note, we're out, baby.
Yes,
we're out. We'll see you next time, baby.
Go to sleep, Aya. Go to sleep. Go to sleep, beast.
Go to sleep, people.
Yo.
Wait a second.
He doesn't know how to turn it off.